This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter. We begin with continuing coverage in St. John. VIPD are still searching for a 56-year-old woman who was reported missing in St. John on Monday morning. This is 56-year-old Sarm Joan Lillian Heslop. She was last seen on March 7th aboard the vessel Siren Song that was off the coast of St. John. She is a Caucasian female and she has a tattoo on her left shoulder. Police are asking you to come forward if you know anything as they continue on with this investigation. And anyone with information on the whereabouts of Heslop is urged to call the 911, the Criminal Investigation Bureau at 340-774-2211 or Crime Stoppers USVI at 800-222-TIPS. You are urged to say something if you saw something. Meantime, yet another day goes by that an elderly man has been missing in St. Croix. Family members in the VIPD continue their pleas to the public for help in finding him. This is 80-year-old Michael Doder Emmanuel. He's been missing since February 19th when he walked away from his home in the Canebrake Apartments. Investigators are offering a $3,200 reward for information leading to his whereabouts. And if you have information on the whereabouts of Michael Emmanuel, you're urged to call 911, the Wilbur Francis Command at 340-778-2211 or the crime tip line at 340-778-4950. And now the latest on COVID-19 numbers here in the territory. There are 94 total active cases, 60 in St. Croix, 33 in St. Thomas, and 1 in St. John. We will bring you the latest COVID-19 cases as they are updated. And Virgin Islanders can schedule vaccinations online through the Department of Health website. That website is covid19usvi.com/vaccine. All Virgin Islanders ages 16 or older are eligible to receive the vaccine, and residents without access to the internet can still book appointments by calling the VIT EMA hotline at 340-777-VAX, which is 8227. And this is a reminder, there is a community vaccination center in each district. It's at the University of the Virgin Islands, Great Hall in St. Croix, and at UVI Sports and Fitness Center in St. Thomas. And here in St. Croix, some schools are wrapping up their second week of in-person learning. The VI Department of Education shared some photos from the St. Croix Educational Complex, which houses Arthur Richards kindergarten through 8th grade students. As we can see in these photos, they have multiple signs and paintings all throughout the campus in St. Croix to promote COVID-19 safety measures such as social distancing, mask wearing, temperature checks, and hand washing. And it seems like they've been having a successful 2 weeks back to in-person learning. And this day marks a time to honor more than 500,000 Americans who've lost their lives to COVID-19, but also to celebrate the hope provided by a trio of vaccines.
1 year to the day after America started slipping into a coronavirus lockdown, President Biden signing a bill that releases nearly $2 trillion in COVID relief. The law, dubbed the American Rescue Plan, designed as an economic shot in the arm.
This historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country.
On this day in 2020, a rapid series of seismic changes shattered normal life. The World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic.
We have rang the alarm bell loud and clear.
That same day, former President Trump announced a European travel ban. In the years since, lockdowns have forced millions out of work, and the unrelenting virus has stolen more than 500,000 American lives.
He was truly genuine. He was a genuine person. He didn't deserve this.
Top health official Dr. Anthony Fauci saying the death toll is far worse than he could have imagined.
We had such divisiveness in our country that even simple common sense public health measures took on a political connotation.
Now, as some states are lifting mask mandates and fully reopening businesses, medical experts are urging caution, with vaccines offering a potential pathway to normal. President Biden addressing the nation, looking back at a year of sacrifice and loss and offering hope for what lies ahead.
And in his first primetime address, President Biden directed all states to make all adult Americans eligible to receive a COVID vaccine no later than May 1st. During his address, Biden shared a collective sense of grief and hope exactly 1 year after a nation began slipping into a pandemic lockdown. On Thursday afternoon, he signed the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill into law. The massive law calls for $1,400 stimulus checks, increased unemployment benefits, help for restaurants and other small businesses, and billions of dollars for state and local governments. Republican opponents of the new law say it's full of unnecessary spending as the economy is already starting to rebound, but President Biden pointed to broad support among voters, saying the bill is necessary to help the country recover from the pandemic. This was one of his signature campaign promises, and it secures the president a legislative win in his first 100 days. The president also announced new steps to increase the number of vaccinators and where people can get vaccinated. And our Virgin Islands Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett responded positively to President Biden's bill and also his plan to vaccinate all adults by May 1st, saying it will be extremely beneficial to all of us here across the VI.
Well, I believe that the president has a tremendous rollout plan to get all of us vaccinated by May, to have the vaccines in place. I think it's incumbent on us as elected officials, along with the government, to continue in an aggressive messaging plan to make African Americans, people of color, feel comfortable about the vaccine, to overcome many of the reticence that are within each of our communities that are keeping individuals from being vaccinated, some of the most vulnerable communities. I'm so excited to see an individual like Dr. Nunez-Smith, who is heading up this work for the president, who is actually from the Virgin Islands. There are people of color who are involved in this work, and I think that they're going to send out the right message and eventually will come up to speed.
And during the debate for the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, Congresswoman Plaskett made national headlines when she blasted Representative Glenn Grothman, a Wisconsin Republican, for saying on the House floor that Black Lives Matter doesn't like the old-fashioned family. Plaskett shares why she felt the need to call this representative out.
I did not intend to go on the floor to have a discussion about Black Lives Matter, about Black families. I was there to talk about how this rescue plan was going to lift up tens of millions of children out of poverty, that is creating equity within Black communities, that is going to support our restaurant, our hospitality community sector, that there's small business set-asides for minority communities, and that are going to allow our children to get back to school. That's what I was there to talk about. And yet we get segued. And, I am not going to let someone, particularly a white man, assault Black families who have for the past 400 years in this country been able to maintain themselves, maintain a semblance of community, maintain a semblance of family after the assault on our very existence. Black Lives Matter was there to ensure that Black lives could exist, so that we could have fathers and brothers and husbands in our households.
And this is just a reminder as the weekend approaches, if you are planning to travel, if you're flying in or out of St. Thomas, construction at the King Airport is well underway. That means most of the airport's public parking area is closed. The VI Port Authority says travelers are being asked to be picked up and dropped off at the airport. Curbside parking is not allowed, and signs will be posted at the terminal advising of these new parking restrictions. The Parking and Transportation Center will have 600 parking spaces and a dedicated location for ground transportation and car rentals.